Is there a better way to start your day than at the piano? Early morning piano practices are one of my absolute favorite things. They set the tone for the day, they immerse me in something musical, and it's just a great way to wake up the brain. Plus, you're gonna feel so good to go through your day knowing that you've already had some practice time. So in this video, I'm gonna be guiding you step by step through what I feel is the perfect morning practice routine. Okay, so if you are anything like me, mornings are just a difficult time. It just feels hard to wake up sometimes. So the most important and the first step is to get to your piano bench. Even if you don't feel like it, just arrive here, okay? You can be sleepy, that's totally fine. Plant your feet on the floor. Take a deep breath and just give yourself a minute to stretch. So you can do great stretches on your bench. You can bring your hands up. Big stretch here. I like to stretch my sides this way, and then I like to do some shoulder rolls and some neck rolls. Oh my gosh, it feels so good. And then, obviously, I just I do these like little, I don't even know what to call this, it just feels ridiculous. And shaking your hands, get some blood flowing there. And then stretch. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so then you place your thumb inside your hand and you pretend as though you're pushing this part of your wrist into the wall, just gently. And you need a nice stretch through here. Same thing with this arm, and then you can go the other way. So just give yourself a couple minutes to wake up a little bit. So once you're there, I like to start every practice with a scale, and I used to find this to be so boring, but you have to just give yourself a moment to arrive at the piano. And what better way to do that than by doing something that's repetitious and you can just sort of use to settle in. So if you're new to the piano, just do a C scale. You can tuck your right hand. Now, the secret here is to let yourself slowly wake up, let your fingers slowly wake up, but be extremely aware of what you're doing and very intentional about what you're doing. So for me, I'm thinking about what do the keys feel like under my fingers today? Are my fingers tight or tense? Am I applying pressure evenly? Are there any sticky points where it's like, oh, those fingers don't want to move? And I can tell you right now in my left hand, it's especially challenging between right here, my 4 and my 5 fingers. So what I would love to challenge you to do is to take a moment or two to practice your scale. Just set the tone for your day with a scale. And use that scale as a second step to help sort of limber up your fingers. So I'm going to play the first 2 notes like this, back and forth. Then the next 2, back and forth. And then I'm going to tuck, watch this. So this is helping me practice that thumb tuck. I'm playing from my 3 to my 1 in my right hand, and then I'm going to keep going. And if you find yourself getting sleepy or bored, you can speed this up a little bit. Notice in my left hand, I'm using 1 to 3. And here we go. There you go. So that should give you a good warm-up and kind of set the tone for what you're practicing because you've just played a scale. That's the start. So now you've done your scale. You can give yourself a pat on your back. It's kind of like eating your vegetables. Good job. Next, we're gonna look at just sort of allowing our hands to relax, and we're gonna drop through some chords. So here's what I mean. So I want you to build a chord on the first note of the C scale, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring our hands up and we're just gonna drop them. So this is allowing us to practice how we're weighting in our hands so that we're not tensing up as we play. We can just practice relaxing and using the weight of our body to help us play. So I'm going to set up for success here, and I'm going to press down, lift, press down, lift, press down, lift, press down, lift. And then we're going to head back down. So I'm staying so relaxed. When I lift up, I'm pretending like my hands have just been to the dentist. I don't know, they're frozen. You know that feeling you get in your face when you've been to the dentist? It's like you can't really feel. It's the same thing with your hands. Just relax. We're going to do it again a little bit faster. As soon as you feel tension start to creep in, you want to take your hands off the keys and just take a moment, breathe, relax, and start over. So this is all about having relaxed hands. One more time, a bit faster. Next, we're going to look at playing around a little bit with a chord progression. Now don't get me wrong, just because we're playing a chord progression doesn't mean we're not also working our technique, our speed, our accuracy, our hand independence, and our dynamics all at the same time. And I'm gonna give you a progression to play with. We're gonna be playing with A minor, F, G, and E minor. So let's just play that together for our minute. So we're gonna go A, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4, A minor, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now you've got the chord progression under your fingers. We're gonna start to build some movement and some intensity. So what I would like you to do is take your left hand and I want you to play an arpeggio. So we're gonna be playing A, C, E, A, then F, A, C, F, G, B, D, G, E, G, B, E. So it's arpeggio practice. We're actually still working on our technique, which is awesome because this is gonna sound so good. We're gonna add our right hand in just a moment. So get ready with an A minor chord here. 2, 3, 4 to F, 2, 3, 4 to G, 2, 3, 4 to E minor, 2, 3, 4, now faster. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, E minor, 2, 3, 4. Now we're gonna switch the roles. Our right hand is gonna play these arpeggios, and our left hand is going to play the chords. So I'm gonna bring my hands close together. G, E minor. Again, A minor, F, G, E minor. One more time. F, G, E minor. I lied. One more time. F, G, E minor. And we'll land on A minor to end. Okay, so I wanted to add one more layer to this, a 2-octave arpeggio, and this is where you can really start to develop some swiftness in your playing. And I find usually by this point, if you're practicing this in the morning, your mind and your body are like, oh, I'm awake, I'm playing something musical, I like how it sounds, my hands are moving quickly, I'm ready to go for the day. So this is my favorite part, but it does require that you can play a 2-octave arpeggio. So I'm doing a 1, 2, 3, tuck, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's what I'm using for this concept, but here's how it's going to sound in context. So it's quite swift. You can slow it down. I'm playing a 5th in my left hand. It's the outer shell of the chord, A and E. And back down. And then instead of playing the final note of that arpeggio, you're going to use that moment to get your hand ready on the next chord, which is F. Look at all these arpeggios we're practicing today. Up to G. Don't complete it, don't play that G, move to E. This is really good for accuracy. And if you want more drama, you can move it down lower. So it's not a very long practice. It's short and sweet, and you'd be amazed at how much technique you're actually getting into a short period of time and having a very musical experience with. We've covered scales. We've covered a dexterity exercise with that little modification we did on the scales. We've covered chords when we played the beginning of that chord progression. We've covered arpeggios, and we've covered 2-octave arpeggios. So for me personally, I find, when I sit down, I'm like, oh, I have to practice my technique. I can tend to get a little bit avoidant, but if I can sort of sneak it into a very musical form, it becomes like something I'm looking forward to doing. Kind of like how you might, sneak some spinach into a chocolate smoothie or some vegetables into a spaghetti sauce. You know what I mean? I'm really on the food metaphors today. But it's just a great way to get some very critical aspects of your piano practice into your morning routine in a way that's gonna just make you feel great. So I hope you enjoyed practicing along with me. Happy practicing. Comment below if you have any questions. I would love to know, do you normally practice in the mornings? How do you feel about your morning practices? And I'll see you around.